Welcome to a new year, 2018. Tampa, Florida, the site to open up this calendar year with the Outback Bowl. The last time South Carolina and Michigan met, it was in this game 5 years ago. Each seek their 9th win. There is some dispute as to the origin and meaning of the name Tampa, but the word is believed to mean sticks of fire in the language of the Calusa, a Native American tribe that used to live here in Tampa. It's fitting because we've got Jim Harbaugh and Will Muschamp, two of the most fiery head coaches in college football today, each trying to finish their season with a victory. And with that, we welcome you into the broadcast booth. Adam Amin, Dusty Dvorak, Molly McGrath. Happy New Year. We bring you maybe the biggest day of the college football season.
Happy New Year, and we are so happy that you get to taste college football in 2018 first with us right here today.
And nursing your hangover or something like that. As we open up our bowl dossier, we start with the Michigan Wolverines. They lost 10 starters from last year's defense. No problem for Don Brown.
Well, most places it's a big problem, but Don Brown and this defense, no problem whatsoever. At Michigan, they just reload. Up front, the front four will absolutely choke you out. The best pass defense in all of college football right here at Michigan.
Meanwhile, 3 quarterbacks this season for Michigan. Good opportunity for Brandon Peters today.
Great opportunity. It's an audition for Brandon Peters, a chance for him to get a leg up in this quarterback competition that's sure to happen come spring there in Ann Arbor. But he's been confident, he's been accurate, and he's done a great job taking charge of this offense.
And for Will Muschamp, a real good upward trajectory at South Carolina.
Headed the right way. He took over a program that had 3 wins and a loss to Citadel. 6 wins a year ago, 8 wins this year. By the way, 70% of this roster made up of first and second year players. A win here today gives them 9 wins, only the 7th time in program history.
And today, Molly McGrath, we have a tale of 2 Hursts.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. Michigan defensive lineman Maurice Hurst and South Carolina tight end Hayden Hurst. Not related, but they do have one big thing in common. Both are headed to the NFL and decided to play in today's game despite the risk of injury. And when making his decision, Maurice Hurst had extensive conversations with Wolverines former tight end Jake Butt, who suffered an ACL in last year's Orange Bowl. And Butt told him if he could go back in time, he'd make the same exact decision and play in that final game with his teammates. Mo told me he knows he's making the right choice, and Gamecocks tight end Hayden Hurst feels the same way. He's known as the most unselfish player on this team. He said that sitting out of a game is just not in his DNA, Adam.
We'll see both of them in action today in the Outback Bowl to open up 2018. It starts with a penalty flag.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at 35-yard line. First down.
Hey, buddy. Let's take a look at today's Chick-fil-A impact players, and we start with Karan Higdon.
Well, Karan Higdon's been fantastic. Team Offensive Player of the Year, runs hard, he's got great feel, and does an excellent job taking care of the football. On the other side, Sky Moore, one of the most athletic linebackers you'll find in the Southeastern Conference.
Here is Higdon. Stacked up after a yard gain by DJ Smith. Let's take a look at today's keys to the game, brought to you by Franklin American Mortgage.
Well, when South Carolina has a football and Michigan's on defense, we talked about this pass defense, best in college football. It's press man coverage, so South Carolina outside is going to have to win at the line of scrimmage and win the 50-50 balls. And turnovers, it's such a key factor, especially in bowl games. South Carolina's been great, led the SEC in takeaways. In Michigan, their problem, turnover margin, one of the worst in college football.
Peters' first throw underneath to his leading pass catcher, Sean McCune, one of several tight ends that we'll see today for Michigan. Third down.
Smart play there. McCune just working on a stick route. Nice, easy throw, middle of the field. The redshirt freshman quarterback, Brandon Peters, does a nice job standing in there in the pocket. Regardless if there's pressure, very comfortable delivering the football.
Peters under pressure. Down he goes. T.J. Brunson closes out the drive.
Well, we knew that they were going to bring pressure. It's a very opportunistic defense that will flat out get after you. T.J. Brunson's going to be on the blitz. It's a delayed blitz. He comes clean. No one able to pick him up. Excellent design by the defensive coordinator, Tavares Robinson, and execution by the sophomore T.J. Brunson to get an opening sack and stop the drive.
Brad Robbins is the freshman punter. Not a great kick. Will give decent field position to South Carolina. He's back. We'll look at today's Chick-fil-A impact players, and we start with South Carolina's top target.
Well, early in the season, South Carolina lost Deebo Samuel, and Brian Edwards really stepped up. They target him almost 40% of the pass plays. On the other side, guy will be getting after Jake Bentley all day. Chase Winovich led the Big Ten in tackles for loss and sacks this year.
There is the aforementioned Hayden Hurst to the 43-yard line. He got tackled by Khaleke Hudson. That's a matchup you want to watch today. Batted down at the line of scrimmage, 3rd down and 4.
Big Mo Hurst getting the hands up, gets slowed down in the pass rush. But he reads Jake Bentley's eyes, hands in the throwing lane, and nice play by the All-American defensive tackle. And how about this tempo, Adam? This is something Will Muschamp told us he wanted to see here today.
Hurst getting after Bentley. You got tempo, I got the rush. Mo Hurst bringing heat.
First of all, I just love the fact that the senior is playing here today. He's going to be a first-round pick in the NFL, and he's going to just flat out get after it up the field. And great penetration and pressure on the quarterback, Jake Bentley. It's a screen, but nobody gets a hand on Mo Hurst. Outstanding first step, and man, is he happy to be here in Tampa playing his last game for the Wolverines.
Consensus All-American. Donovan Peoples-Jones running backwards. Great coverage for South Carolina by A.J. Turner. Long field in front of the Wolverines. These two teams are meeting in the Outback Bowl for the first time in 5 years. The defense locking it up early. Michigan and South Carolina are getting after it in the Outback Bowl. They got after it a little bit at the bowling alley on Wednesday at one of the events for the Outback Bowl. A little bit of a skirmish between these two, getting the juice going.
Extracurricular, like each other. Makes for good football here New Year's Day morning. Kind of like that, Adam. A little chippiness. Never hurt nobody.
Long field in front of Brandon Peters. Handoff to Chris Evans. Pick up about 3 yards. Brandon Peters, a second-year quarterback, 6'5", 220-pounder out of Avon, Indiana. We asked Jim Harbaugh about how Brandon should approach this game. He said he should approach this game like no one is going to take his job. And that's something Jim Harbaugh wants to preach to all of the quarterbacks that are potentially competing for this position next season.
And Brandon Peters said it's like someone is coming into your house and trying to take something from you. It's not going to happen like that, he said. I'm not going to let somebody come into my house and take this from me. And a great opportunity for him to start the 2018 season on the right note by ending the season here today with a good performance in the Outback Bowl. 3rd down and medium. The tight ends to be involved, and true freshman Donovan Peoples-Jones. Big target for this Wolverine offense.
Peters, incomplete. Looking for Kakoa Crawford. Chris Lamons. Excellent coverage for South Carolina.
Well, it's going to be out of the slot. They're just going to try to throw the slot fade. It's fantastic man-to-man coverage. Chris Lamons, the best cover guy they have. He's step for step with him. Gets that right hand in there at the last moment to get the pass breakup. The hand fighting right as the ball gets there. That's great defense. Outstanding coverage by Chris Lamons.
And he's back to return a punt from Brad Robbins. Not a great kick from Robbins. Excellent field position coming up for South Carolina. 3 possessions, 3 and outs from 2 defenses that have really improved again this year.
The Outback Bowl, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Hurry in January 2nd for your free bloomin' onion or coconut shrimp. Franklin American Mortgage. It all begins with home. And Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. This is fit.
Trip to Busch Gardens, going to Tampa General Hospital to talk to some of the patients, going to the Tampa Bay Lightning game. Just a sampling of some of the festivities for Michigan and South Carolina in the Outback Bowl, all part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Second Gamecock series starts at the plus 41 with Tyson Williams taking it to the 38-yard line.
Adam, Michigan defensive coordinator Don Brown telling his guys they're going to go tempo, but that's a piece of cake. You need to be with me, though. Communicate and get set. You can't use tempo as an excuse.
There is the 62-year-old Don Brown, outstanding coordinator. And his defense comes up clutch again. Kalik Hudson, the Viper for Michigan's defense.
Well, it's going to be Kalik Hudson from the boundary. He comes on a blitz, and he's unaccounted for. Nobody's going to pick him up, and he's just going to come scot-free and get the shot on Jake Bentley.
That might be the easiest sack of his season.
Confusion up front. Nobody accounts for him. Running back goes the opposite way. The offensive tackle never looked his direction. Remember, Blake Camper starting for Zach Bailey at the right side, so some confusion on the offensive line. Leads to the sack.
Bentley, well overthrown for Shi Smith. And Chase Winovich getting right in the face of Jake Bentley there.
Defensive end that led the Big Ten in sacks. Tackles for loss this season. He's going to be coming all day long. Pressure off both edges and in the face of Jake Bentley. He couldn't get comfortable in the pocket. He airmails pass out of bounds. Another quick 3 and out. The South Carolina offense.
Peoples-Jones at the 12. You may have noticed Chase Winovich and that flowing orange mane. You may have noticed Don Brown's mustache. And you may have noticed some of the Michigan fans getting into the spirit. There's a little bit more to this that you're really going to appreciate when we come back. A few months ago, Chase Winovich ran into Tammy Carr, the mother of Chad Carr, Lloyd Carr's grandson, who passed away in November of 2015 at age 5, battling diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, an operable tumor in the small of the brainstem. And he told her he wanted to raise money for awareness of the disease. And he decided if $15,000 could be raised, he would dye his hair orange. Well, Michigan raised over $200,000 for this cause, led by Chase Winovich.
First told me they had no idea this would catch on as quickly as it did. He said the first day he got involved, donation numbers went up 15,000, and a Michigan regent, Ron Reiser, said that he would match up to $1 million, dollar for dollar.
Grant Newsom, Mo Hurst, Devin Bush, Josh Metellus, they all said that they would chip in. And Don Brown, the defensive coordinator, said that if it hits $125,000, he would dye his mustache orange. It hit $125 a couple of days ago, and Don Brown delivered.
Incredible story. You got to give it up to Chase Winovich for starting this process, and the Michigan fan base for ponying up and getting all this money raised for such a great cause. Just an awesome, awesome story.
And Adam, it's significant because orange was Chad's favorite color, and Tammy reached out to the players and she said it was such a relief to see all the support in the Michigan community. She said that the holidays were Chad's favorite time of year, so this has made it a little bit easier on the family, the fact that they have all this support behind them.
Fan base has done it today too. Awesome to see that type of effort for such a great cause. 3rd down and 3 from the 18 for Michigan. Black.
Full start. Number 83, offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, this is game 1 of the day, pal. We got plenty to come, including the college football playoff semifinals. Rose Bowl game starts it up at 5 Eastern. Oklahoma and Georgia, All-State Sugar Bowl with Clemson and Alabama. And Will Muschamp has faced a couple of these teams. He's familiar with these guys. Gave us a great scouting report yesterday. Oklahoma can create the big plays with Baker Mayfield. Georgia has that great run attack. And he said the Sugar Bowl is going to be decided at the line of scrimmage. I think he knows what he's talking about when it comes to some of those teams.
A little bit. They played Georgia tough this year.
Clock snap. Timeout. Michigan.
Clemson kind of jumped all over them, but it was perfect.
30
it
seconds.
was great to get a chance. You know, we had Missouri the other night watching Missouri take on Georgia. Then you watch this South Carolina team play both Georgia and Clemson on the film, so you get a real good feel for what's in the college football playoff. Defense, defense, defense. Both those teams with front sevens and defensive lines that are really, really difficult to deal with. I think these college football playoff matchups, call me crazy, they seem like the best ones we've had yet. I mean,
I don't want to be a victim of recency bias, but I do feel like we're in for 2 unreal games. Maybe that's the wishful fan in me hoping that we're going to see some great ones. I just feel like we're primed for some great ones today.
Baker Mayfield against Roquan Smith.
Ooh, what a matchup that's going to be.
And then my question, can Mike Stoops' defense, can the linebackers, can the safeties, can they tackle those big, physical, elusive running backs that Georgia presents? It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
What a gift to start off 2018 Outback Bowl, Peach Bowl playoffs. 3rd and 9.
Donovan Peoples-Jones, the true freshman, bottom of your screen.
Peters looking in that direction. Had him as the release for the 1st down. But there is a penalty marker thrown back at the 16.
They like the patience there by Brandon Peters from within the pocket. Goes through all of his read progressions.
Ineligible player downfield, number 51. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Through his read progressions and came to his check down over on the sidelines, just standing alone, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. But Cesar Ruiz, the true freshman, who's been extremely impressive, playing the majority of this season at right guard, legally down the field, really costing Michigan, picking up that 1st down.
Would have been the game's first down, but Ruiz was beyond 3 yards of the line of scrimmage when the ball was released by Peters.
Officials have done a much better job, I feel like, these last couple of years enforcing that rule.
Just a 3-man rush. Peters to the outside for Nico Collins. It was past the sticks. It would have been good for a 1st down had the catch been made in bounds.
Costly penalty. The true freshman, Cesar Ruiz, had the 1st down, and they come back on 3rd down. Brandon Peters just a little bit high and outside. I'd like to see Nico Collins be able to sneak that toe in bounds to complete the catch.
Another punt from the end zone for Robbins. Lamons made contact. Loose ball, Michigan ball at the 47-yard line.
Well, Chris Lamont just made a huge mistake.
On the field is a kick was touched by the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team. First down, Michigan.
I'm not sure if he thought his teammate touched the football. Looked like Javon Charleston, he thought might have grabbed it, but just let it go if you're Chris Lamont. Tries to field the football. Sloppy, muddy conditions out there. Ball's rolling around.
I'm with you, Dusty. I gotta think he was under the impression that Charleston maybe made contact. Otherwise, there's no reason to touch that football if you're Lamont. Low for Crawford, incomplete. Watch 17 here. I think he avoided it, but I wonder if maybe Lamont thought he didn't and felt the need to try to grab that ball and secure it.
Yeah, he was confused. A huge mistake by the senior safety. Mishandling that punt, giving Michigan a great opportunity to get points on the board. Poor pass there on first down by Brandon Peters. Inside and low for his target.
Peoples-Jones, incomplete. He's got Jamarcus King guarding him. Peters a little bit off target to start this game.
He is high and outside there again. 1 of 5 so far on the day. Brandon Peters trying to get comfortable. Just hasn't quite gotten there just yet. The one time he was able to buy himself some time and find an outlet receiver, got called back, but 3 straight poor passes to the redshirt freshman. Like South Carolina dial it up, bring some pressure.
To the flat. And the sprint by Crawford is enough for the first down. The first down for the Wolverine offense.
It's a flat route.
Able to pick up the first down for either team. Dusty, you were thinking about this last night. This is a team that has had some turnover issues, some giveaways. Their defense has stood up in these spots.
Absolutely. 14 giveaways, only 13 points off turnovers. It's a defense flat out getting it done. They're put in bad situations.
Chris Evans. What an effort by Evans. Picks up 10 yards. Ball did come out loose, but he was ruled down.
Keir Thomas gets excellent penetration up the field. How about the slight hesitation by Chris Evans to make the defender miss? Little cut, savvy, burst through the hole, a nice pickup, and another first down.
Evans this time will not escape Lamont. I wonder if Chris feels like he's playing with a little bit more fire on this series after the miscue momentarily.
It's a way to somewhat make up for the muff punt. We're able to lead this defense to get a stop. It's a good open field tackle on Chris Evans. It was well blocked. Man on man, safety on running back, and if he was able to make him miss, Evans had plenty of running room. Job securing the tackle in the open field.
Swing it out for Crawford. Gets run down by Lamont and Brunson. We talked about South Carolina's defense, a much improved defense since Will Muschamp and Travaris Robinson took over. Robinson, 36 years of age, a former defensive back at Auburn for Tommy Tuberville. Spent some time playing in this stadium for the Tampa Bay Bucks and has been under Tuberville and Muschamp in his coaching career.
They're a multiple front. They go odd, they go even, they really move around, slant the defensive line, give the offensive line quite a bit to think about, and they love the pressure on third down.
They'll bring pressure here. Peters protected The catch shy of the sticks, though, for Nate Shanley.
Good blitz design, and Sky Moore, the senior, who's able to come clean and get home. He's going to be able to blitz. Just a delayed blitz. The middle of the offensive line opens right up. He gets a big hit on Brandon Peters. Peters able to get the ball out, but well short. The yardage needed to get a first down.
Quinn Nordine, who made two 50-plus yard field goals in that opener against Florida at AT&T Stadium, will try to get Michigan on the board from 35. The #1 kicker recruit in the country 2 years ago, originally committed to Penn State, and then Jim Harbaugh came over one night and slept over at Quinn Nordine's house. That might have been enough to turn the commitment, and Quinn's fired up as he gets the opening points of the Outback Bowl. Well, the NFL playoffs are set, and ABC and ESPN will have the simulcast of the AFC wildcard game between the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. That will be Saturday at 4:20 Eastern Time on ESPN, ABC, Deportes, and the ESPN app. First time that these two teams will meet in a playoff game since the 1993 divisional round. Who was the Chiefs quarterback?
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana, yes, of course. No, Joe Montana.
That would have been the Oilers, huh?
It was the Houston Oilers.
That Warren Moon, was he quarterback in the Oilers?
Still rocking it for Warren Moon. We are in an NFL stadium, of course, Raymond James Stadium, the site of last year's college football playoff championship game. And of course, that name will be on the call on Saturday, I hope, at this point. A lot of rumors surrounding John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders. Of course, 6 NFL head coaching jobs are now open as well after Black Monday. Shi Smith running backwards. What is happening in special teams for South Carolina?
Sky kick. A really poor job judging the football. An outstanding coverage by Michigan. They've got him pinned back inside the 10.
Nate Shanley, 81, helping to hustle and bring down the freshman Shi Smith.
Must be nice to be John Gruden, huh? Got a great gig of what he's doing, and whether it's college or NFL, everybody wants him to be the coach.
He's here today, from what we understand. Wanted to make a trip and check out this game, a game that he called 5 years ago with Mike Tirico and Shannon Spate. Here's A.J. Turner, just a yard.
Absolutely nowhere to run,
man,
on this front for Michigan. I mean, listen, there's some great fronts out there, front sevens, and I've watched a lot of them. Georgia, Clemson, they've got some great ones. Obviously, Ohio State, but this Michigan front seven, when you talk about Rashawn Gary finally playing up to his level, Mo Hurst, Chase Winovich, Aubrey Solomon, the true freshman coming on, flat out get after you up front.
Nice play design here. Bentley dumped it off for Brian Edwards, but there is a penalty marker at the 10.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference. The pass was caught behind the line of scrimmage. Pass was complete. First down.
RPO, run pass option with Jake Bentley, making a good decision. First down of the game for South Carolina.
More pressure, so another quick strike to Edwards. And another first down. If you want to go tempo, you need to get a few first downs. We might see it a little bit more now from the Gamecocks.
After you get that initial first down, they're going to put their foot on the gas, get that defense on their heels, and get them out of position.
Bentley lost the football. Chase Winovich with another takeaway for Michigan.
defense. First down, Michigan.
A man like his hair on fire, maybe?
He's playing like a man.
Playing like it right now.
With his hair on fire. I think that was another RPO run pass option, and Jake Bentley got caught in no man's land. It's the mesh point. The quarterback running back exchange with A.J. Turner. Bentley wanted to pull it. Turner thought he was getting it. Ball's on the ground, and Winovich is on top. Second takeaway already for this Wolverine defense.
Peters taking a shot. Incomplete for Zach Gentry. Chris Lamons, more good coverage. We've talked about it with multiple coaches. When we get to bowl season especially, it feels like turnover margin is magnified because of the layoff. You want to get off to a good start. Rocky start for South Carolina.
2 fumbles already, giving Michigan great field position 2 different times, but also not being able to field the punt, not being able to field the kickoff. A lot of miscues here in this opening quarter for the Gamecocks.
Higdon wrapped up by Brunson. Third down coming up.
Much running room between the tackles against this South Carolina defense either. They'll load the box up. Safety's coming down low. Physical group up front in their own right. Just not much running space for these Michigan running backs.
Timeout.
Timeout. South Carolina. They're first. 30 seconds.
The last time Michigan and South Carolina met 5 years ago on New Year's Day. As you mentioned, our buddy John Gruden was on the call with Mike Tirico and Shannon Spake. Maybe one of the most impressive plays we've seen in college football.
Michigan at the 41. Quarterback hit. Ball's free. On the ground. South Carolina deserves to have it, and they do.
With one of the hardest hits you will see in all of 2013.
Clowney just says, I'll take care of business.
By the way, if you had the over-under at about 13 minutes or so, when we show the Clowney hit, you win your pool. What a play. It still lives on in infamy in college football.
I know it's coming. I'm still impressed every time I see it.
What a game that was. Let's hope for another fun one today. Peters has to sling it away. And a penalty marker is thrown late as Daniel Fennell, the redshirt sophomore, had the pressure.
Face mask. Number 35. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Add that to the miscues list.
Well, that's one Fennell wishes he could have back. It's good coverage down the field. He wants to go to his tight end, Zach Gentry, out in the flats. Good pressure. Well, you get a handful of face masks, going to draw the flag every single time. Instead of getting off the field, forcing a field goal, Michigan, they give me first down and inside the 20. The miscues just keep coming for South Carolina.
From the 15. Dumped it off for Evans. Sky Moore on the stop at the 9.
Brandon Peters stepping up in the pocket. Offensive line doing a nice job, giving him plenty of time. Locates his running back. Nice pickup on first down.
John Runyon starting at right tackle today. Juwan Bushell-Beatty is out with an undisclosed absence. And Ben Bredesen has an undisclosed injury, the normal left guard. Been maneuvering by Evans, but it'll only get him to the 8. Taylor Stallworth on the stop.
He's shifty. He can definitely make you miss. Just a pickup of a couple, but could have easily been a tackle for loss. TJ Brunson
Officials timeout
on the ground.
for an injured player.
Will Muschamp, 46 years of age, checking on his linebacker. Really good season for TJ Brunson. Second leading tackler for the Gamecock defense. 3 fumble recoveries this year for this very good takeaway team.
And he's a thumper, physical tackler. He's good in the blitz game. He's a tough player they're very high on here at South Carolina. Hope he's okay and he's able to return.
You see Brunson back up. Some field condition issues perhaps early in this game. Molly?
Yeah, that's right, Adam. It was raining earlier today, and the ground is still very wet and slippery. Michigan staff was changing out some of the cleats, especially for some of their defensive backs, so that they had some longer spikes, get more traction on this wet grass.
I mean, you played in Chicago, man. You know what that field is like.
Sloppy.
Sloppy field
Exactly
at
what it's
Soldier
like.
Field. You know what that's like to change out those cleats. Remember, they played here yesterday, Bucks and Saints. Peters just throws it away with Taylor Stallworth all over him. Speaking of the NFL, Taylor Stallworth might be playing there.
Yeah, he's been fantastic for the South Carolina team so far this season. Maybe the unsung hero of the defensive line. Just a bull rush right to the quarterback. Peters fortunate to be able to get that pass away, but you see the power from Taylor Stallworth, the nose tackle, the excellent inside pressure. Coverage down the field was very good. Nowhere for Peters to go with the football.
This one from 26. 6-zip, Michigan.
And again, that's a win for the South
Huge
Carolina
win for
defense.
South Carolina, absolutely.
I mean, 2 giveaways. Let's call them what they are. Those are giveaways by the South Carolina special teams and then the offense, putting your defense in a rough spot. To force 2 field goals, that you got to feel good if you're Will Muschamp, if you're Tavares Robinson, about your defense stepping up once again. It's been a theme throughout this season. The offense gives the ball away, puts the defense in tough spots, and time again they answer the bell.
And I wonder what Will Muschamp is fired up about. He was getting after it with the officials there. Talking with the field judge, Harry Tyson here. And the umpire, Tom Laverty, an ACC crew.
We got some fiery coaches out here, man.
No doubt.
I like that. Will Muschamp, I remember that fire back when I played against him in the
That's
2003 National Championship game. He was Nick Saban's defensive coordinator, and his defense got after us that day, and he's done a great job since he's come into South Carolina, implementing his scheme, and Tavares Robinson running his defense. They'll get after you here at South Carolina as well.
Shi Smith stayed on his feet for a bit. Got to the 19-yard line. Ball was stripped by Ambry Thomas, but the ruling is down.
The runner's forward progress was stopped prior to losing possession. First down, South Carolina.
Stopped at the 19-yard line for the Gamecocks. Boy, Ambry Thomas has been all over the place so far today.
Thomas just rips it out. Referees had already blown it dead. I'll tell you what, Ben Mason, he was named the toughest player on the Michigan football team. He was flying down in a big collision. Plays fullback. Tough football player.
The final play of the opening quarter is a Tyson Williams run for 9.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Certainly a couple of victories for South Carolina to just give up 2 field goals after some major miscues. We'll break it down with Dusty on the other side when we start quarter 2 in Tampa.
Well, it's been miscues today for South Carolina that has really put them behind the 8 ball. A lack of attention to details and focus. We saw Chris Lamons misplay a punt. And Jake Bentley, A.J. Turner unable to get the quarterback running back exchange. Hands to the face on the defensive end. Daniel Fennell only 6-0 because South Carolina's defense has stood up, but miscues a problem in the first quarter for South Carolina.
Trying to get something going using Hayden Hurst on the run, and Mike McCray comes up with the stop. The only returning starter from last year's outstanding defense.
Mike McCray, big physical tackler in the open space. They like to bring him a lot as an added rusher. He put together an excellent senior season. Hayden Hurst necessarily excels with the jet sweeps. I think they just want to find a way to get him touches and get him the football.
Bentley underneath for Williams. It's McCray again. This defense lost Jordan Lewis, Jeremy Clark, Jabril Peppers, Delano Hill, Taco Charlton, Ryan Glasgow, Chris Wormley, Ben Gedeon, who's playing great for the Minnesota Vikings. So much lost for Don Brown's team, and yet they reload and have another great season.
What I love is the simplicity of this defense. It's man-to-man coverage. You're going to press you at the line of scrimmage. It's old-school football from Don Brown. He believes in his players. He allows them to play. And, man, have they been an effective unit this season. One of the keys, linebackers that can cover in space, allows them to bring pressure from different areas.
Number 45, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Like we saw with Mike McCray having the running back at man-to-man. They brought pressure. They brought Hudson from the field. It's man-to-man coverage everywhere else, and Mike McCray stride for stride with the running back and makes the tackle as soon as he catches the football.
The long snapper is Ben Asbury, just got tagged with the false start. Nice roll on this punt. It'll get it down to the 36-yard line. Archaeological evidence shows that the shores of Tampa Bay were inhabited by indigenous peoples for thousands of years before the Spanish settled in here.
South Carolina defensive coordinator Travaris Robinson told us the Outback Bowl record is 5 takeaways. We want to beat that, and he was getting on his defense, telling them you're letting their quarterback throw it. The ball's in the air. You need to be more active with your hands. Get vertical. Go get the ball.
23 takeaways led the SEC this year for South Carolina's defense. That's batted into the air. Uric Jones, 6'5", long arms.
It's a nice job by the defensive lineman, understanding when they're not getting to the quarterback, but seeing the balls being thrown, hitting those big bear paws up. He's reading the quarterback's eyes. He's working to where his eyes are. Gets right in the throwing lane. Gets a nice pass breakup.
Higdon wrapped up by Jones. 2 strong plays by the redshirt senior from Oxford, Alabama.
Jones dominated the offensive lineman. Got great extension, shed the block, ripped down the running back for a tackle right at the line of scrimmage. Outstanding individual effort, 1st and 2nd down. Uric Jones. Travaris Robinson try to heat up the redshirt freshman, Brandon Peters. We've seen him bring a lot of pressure on 3rd downs early in this game.
Here it comes. Peters complete for the 1st down to Zach Gentry. junior out of Albuquerque, takes it into Gamecock territory.
They tried to bring pressure. The offensive line, they stood up. The blitz comes, they bring 5. Look at that pressure, look at that pocket. Plenty of space for Brandon Peters to step into the throw. And it's a nice route by his tight end, Zach Gentry. A little bump off the line of scrimmage on the dig. Great timing. As he started breaking to the middle of the football field, the ball was delivered on time and on target to move the chains.
Peters. Wayward throw. Is this a pick? No! Keyshawn Nixon was there. It would have been a spectacular play had he made it, but he nearly had it.
The pressure was applied late by Rashad Fenton. Cornerback came on a blitz. And almost an unbelievable play.
Wow.
By Keyshawn Nixon. Gets his hands on it, the full layout, just unable to complete the process, bring the ball into his body. Peters under pressure, just put that thing up there as far as he could throw it.
Higdon. Nixon chased him down at the edge. 3rd down.
Job by the offensive tackle, John Runyon. He's going to pull and get out in front. Allows Karan Higdon the ability to pick up a couple of nice yards on 2nd down, setting up 3rd and manageable.
Top of the hour in Tampa. Start of 2018 at the Outback Bowl, all part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Peach Bowl going on. We got the Citrus Bowl later today. And don't forget, it's college football playoff semifinal time this afternoon. Peters under pressure, and down he goes. Back on the field, back with a sack, T.J. Brunson.
T.J. Brunson's going to come right off the edge, and he's just done an excellent job today in the pass rush game, working on Mason Cole. Starts inside, nothing there. He works back out. The running back, Karan Higdon, tries to help his quarterback out, but T.J. Brunson not going to be denied as he gets another Gamecock sack and gets his defense off the field.
Well, Robbins is having a rough go of it in the punting game so far. We'll mark it at the 29-yard line. It was perhaps an audition day for Brandon Peters. A couple of rocky moments. Brunson brought him down to close the last series.
The Outback Bowl, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Hurry in January 2nd for your free bloomin' onion or coconut shrimp.
Here in Tampa, Florida, where the first commercial flight took place on this day 104 years ago. From St. Petersburg to Tampa, the ticket cost was about $5. It's only about a 23-mile flight. It's about 40 minutes. 1 gallon of gas cost $2.75 per gallon in 1914 to get a plane going. Deep down the field, their best target from the wide receiver position. Bentley finds Brian Edwards. Down inside the 35 of Michigan.
Well, it's an excellent job by Brian Edwards, winning at the line of scrimmage against Levert Hill. Press man coverage, he beats him. And the offensive line holds up, allows Jake Bentley plenty of time in a nice pocket where he steps up and finds his top target on a skinny post.
Big hole for A.J. Turner and a good run. 2 good plays back-to-back for the Gamecock offense.
We talked about these receivers have to win. There's Brian Edwards winning inside at the line of scrimmage. A good route. Good off the line and good routes are going to beat good coverage.
What a hit on Shi Smith by Tyree Kennell. Wow. Kennell from Huber Heights, Ohio with the hit.
That's how you come up. You make a play as a safety. Excellent tackle on the now screen outside. He had a blocker out in front. It's a good open field tackle. Big hit on the receiver.
Empty it out here on 3rd down and 3 for Bentley.
It's 81 out of the slot. His top target. Hayden Hurst.
Khalid Hudson. Excellent rush on Bentley. You know, I thought he was going to be covering Hayden Hurst there.
Yep.
He ends up coming in on a blitz.
Yeah, he was bringing the pressure. You're trying to throw a quick screen. It's good design by Don Brown. Bentley never saw it. He comes off the edge and he gets his hands up. The screen was there. It was a slip screen underneath. They had the blocking set up. But Khalid Hudson been so big for this team this year, playing in that Jabril Peppers position. It's an excellent play coming off the edge.
South Carolina, for a moment, didn't have a holder out there, and they were missing some personnel.
South Carolina, their second. Media timeout.
So Will Muschamp burns his second timeout. Michigan has controlled the ball and the time, yet still just a 6-0 game in the second in Tampa. Back in Tampa as we take a look at the hot topics around college football, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. The Big Ten trying to make it a perfect 8-0 in bowl games this year. Some impressive performances so far. Luke Getsy, who's a really good wide receivers coach at the NFL level, he gets the offensive coordinator job at Mississippi State for Joe Moorhead.
Big Ten has been fantastic this bowl season. Can they stay perfect? The Wolverines, the final domino to drop for the Big Ten to make it a perfect 8-0.
Parker White from 44. Got a little bit of slice on that one to get the Gamecocks on the board. He has struggled this year from beyond 40 yards. This was a really nice hook job to get it through.
And a much-needed made field goal to get points on the board for the South Carolina offense. They haven't done much offensively whatsoever today. They're able to hit the big pass down the field to Brian Edwards. They're able to cash in with the field goal there.
You know, we were talking about the Big Ten trying to make it a perfect 8-0. I don't want fans to get, at least this is my side of things. Let me put a disclosure out there. I don't want fans to make the assumption that because the Big Ten's been so great in bowl season,
right,
that somehow Ohio State should have been in the playoff over Alabama or something like that. You can make the argument, just don't use the bowl records because I feel like those are very skewed.
Well, how you get to the college football playoff isn't the bowl games.
Yeah.
It's the regular season, right? It's what you do in the non-conference. It's what you do throughout conference play. And the reality is, as everyone formed their resumes, the Big Ten did not have a resume worthy to be in the college football playoff. So you're exactly right. Don't look now and say, well, look at the success. They should have a team in. Doesn't work that way, nor should it.
Boy, another procedure penalty on the kickoff from White. That's the second time that he's had that happen today.
Kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Well, he just nailed a 44-yard field goal. But the special teams for Will Muschamp overall has seen way too many problems, I guarantee, for his liking today. Higdon brought down at the line of scrimmage. Good play by Nixon. Listen, this is the biggest day of the season. We're very happy to be the first game of your day in 2018, first game of your year, but Peach Bowl's going on ESPN, UCF and Auburn, that's underway. Citrus Bowl with LSU and Notre Dame over on ABC, and then of course the two college football playoff games today. You and I gonna enjoy some time in Tampa, might throw the ESPN app on. You can do the same thing today from your couch if you feel like watching multiple games at once. Higdon sets up 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, pull out the ESPN app, but don't change the channel. You get those other games going on the app, but make sure you keep us on the TV. Power football there out of Michigan. Multiple tight ends in the game, fullback in the game. It's a classic power O off the right side. Nice pickup to get it 3rd and medium. 3rd down has been a good down for South Carolina so far today. A lot of pressure they've been able to apply on Brandon Peters.
Incomplete. Travaris Robinson has seen his defense get put into a couple of bad spots already. They continue to step up when they need to in this first half.
It's excellent protection as well for the quarterback, Brandon Peters. He steps into the throw, tries to find the true freshman Nico Collins on an out route. It's decent coverage, but pass poorly thrown, too far outside and low, giving his receiver no chance to make a play on the football. Once again, redshirt sophomore or redshirt freshman quarterback in an audition situation continues to struggle.
Will Hart was the new punter this time. Chris Lamons with the return to the 35-yard line. That is a live shot from Pasadena, California. Our college football playoff games get going today. Oklahoma and Georgia will start it off in the Rose Bowl at 5.
Back here in Tampa, and due to some rain earlier today, field conditions have been an issue all day. We saw Michigan was giving some new cleats to some of their players with longer spikes, and on the South Carolina sideline, every single player is getting the bottom of their cleats brushed off. It's coming off in clumps, and longer cleats are being passed around over here as well, Adam.
The 3/4-inch spikes out, Adam. Dig in, be able to get some type of footing on this muddy surface. Fantastic job by the grounds crew getting this field ready to play at it. There was an NFL game here around 7 o'clock local last night.
Rico Dowdle, who has not played since midway through the year, has missed the last 6 games with a fractured bone in his lower leg. Thought not to have been available today, but in the pregame got loosened up, warmed up, went through treatment, and basically went through his regular pregame routine. Coaches were not very positive about his status today, but he was ready to go today for the Outback Bowl.
Go, Robbie, go!
Here's Randricus Davis close to the sticks. You know, to go back to what Molly was talking about, Wayne Ward is the head groundskeeper here at Raymond James Stadium. He and his entire grounds crew worked overnight tonight because that NFL game, which was originally slated for 1 p.m. with all the playoff shifting and TV times moved, got moved to one of the late slots. So that's a long period of time, 3 hours extra that the grounds could have been working. They had to work through the night to get this field ready for the Outback Bowl. And then, of course, the rains hit overnight as well.
The ruling on the previous play, if the runner reached the line to gain, is under further review.
You can review a spot when it relates to the line to gain or a touchdown. So they'll take a look at that. This was pregame today. Phenomenal job by the grounds crew just to get this field ready. It looked like it was in really good playable condition. And then, as we talked about, a lot of rain did hit overnight and a little bit this morning as well.
And I thought initially when I was watching this live from here, he looked short of the line to gain, short of the yellow line. He's down. He's almost 2 full yards, at least a yard shy. So this is going to be overturned. Should be probably third and about 1.5 yards.
That's where the ball is when the knee goes down. I agree with you on that, Dust. I think it'll be short. Knee down there. And yeah, I mean, you're right. Maybe a yard and a half, maybe even 2 full yards.
Yeah. Well shy of the line to gain.
After review, the runner was down with the ball at the 44-yard line. It will be placed at that spot. 3rd down and 1. The clock is correct, and we'll start on my signal.
Great job by our crew to give you and the officials that look. Fantastic job by our crew all season long as we have our swan song today on the first day of 2018. Our producer Kim Belton, our director Anthony DeMarco, and the outstanding family that we call the B Crew here in Tampa. Fine women and men of our crew bringing you the Outback Bowl to open up your year. 3rd down and 1. Trying to get the push. Dowdle is short. And then a push after the play. Mo Hurst. Excellent penetration.
Big Mo Hurst. And he's been doing it all season for this Wolverine defense. Such a stout at the line of, such a stout presence at the line of scrimmage. You see him working, getting low. That first initial step. He gets penetration, knocks the offensive lineman back in the backfield. Is also Rashad Gary getting penetration. Nasty front four for the Michigan Wolverines. And on 3rd and short, they bow their backs and force yet another South Carolina punt.
The 4th for Charlton.
William Gay, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Jones at the 27. Back to the NBA this week, doubleheader, a matchup that everybody wants to see. Kyrie Irving taking on his former teammate LeBron James at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then a matchup you're going to see a couple of times this year. First meeting between the Thunder and the Lakers in our nightcap. NBA Countdown starts it all up on Wednesday at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Kind of cool when we were talking with Don Brown, the defensive coordinator, yesterday. He was talking about basketball on grass and how these two teams don't really play that basketball on grass style.
Well, he's talking about matchups, and that's why we see positions like the Viper, the nickel position we see in football, the way tight ends are and how multiple running backs who motion out. You've got to have linebackers that can not just play the run, that can cover extremely well. So those hybrid-type players are perfect for matchups. That's what Don Brown was alluding to. Football, much like basketball, turning into a matchup game. And then he loves to go after long, tall, athletic cornerbacks that can really match up outside with these bigger, more physical wide receivers.
He told us he doesn't mind if they're a little skinnier to start because they're going to get bigger, but they keep their athleticism. Crawford. Good edge play by Sky Moore. Man, South Carolina is going to miss this one. One of the all-time great defensive players in Gamecock history.
He just runs so well. I mean, this guy is so athletic. He's 6'2", 218, and the senior is instinctive and can run sideline to sideline. It's fantastic pursuit by the senior Sky Moore. First team All-SEC, and 4 years led this South Carolina defense in tackles, tied for the all-time lead in interceptions as a linebacker.
He's a linebacker. He's got 14 interceptions in his career.
Versatility, my friend.
More good edge play. This time it's Jamarcus King bringing down the freshman Nico Collins.
3rd and long, and they want to just throw the now screen outside. Got no blockers outside, so it's mano-a-mano, one-on-one, and an excellent open field tackle by Jamarcus King. Aggressive, diagnoses the play, catch, tackle immediately, and an impressive possession for the South Carolina defense. We thought it was going to be all defense coming in, and it's lived up to it this first half.
Yeah, this has been a rock fight so far. Teams have combined for just 147 yards in this game.
Play of game. Offense, prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
You know, one thing that's been a breath of fresh air, though, to see? The excellent tackling. I mean, so much in college football now, you see poor tackling all over the country.
It's
not practiced as much, therefore when they get on the field, you see more missed tackles. But here today, but some excellent open field tackling by both South Carolina and Michigan. And you see how he gets the head on the outside. I mean, that is picture perfect. Kids, if you're watching at home, that's how you make an open field tackle, just the way Jamarcus King did on 3rd down.
Lamont couldn't get past the first wave. Nice job by Henry Poggi. Under Armour All-American when he first arrived at Michigan, the elder statesman of this Michigan bunch, playing his 44th career game.
It's crazy when you look at the roster of the Michigan offense. They got 5 tight ends, they got 4 fullbacks, and you got schools in college football don't even carry fullbacks anymore. It's an old school throwback style of football, but all these guys very much involved, not just on offense, but throughout special teams as well.
Bentley recovers the snap and throws it incomplete for Turner. Chase Winovich brought some pressure, but that was a broken play, and Bentley did well just to get rid of it. Allen Knott is the center.
Good keeping his composure, right? He knows the pressure's coming. He knows about this front for Michigan. Winovich was beating down on him. Ball's on the ground. He scoops the football and is able to get it out of his hand to avoid a sack or a disastrous play. Good job by Jake Bentley of just getting the football out of his hand and saving disaster.
There goes Turner. Hudson drags him out.
Good block by Cedarius Hutcherson, left guard, starting for Onell Staley. Opens up a nice hole off the left side for A.J. Turner.
4th career start for Hutcherson. Oh for 5 on 3rd down today, South Carolina. 0 for 6. The Michigan defense again. Winovich, Noah Furbush. More good penetration by the Wolverine defense. Their 5th tackle for loss.
Well, it's also Mo Hurst on the inside. I mean, this entire defensive line just stuffing it out. We're going to see it from the high end zone. I mean, they just absolutely get penetration, hold up at the point of attack, and allow the outside linebacker, Noah Furbush, to come unblocked. He makes the tackle, but it's the guys inside. It's Rashawn Gary, it's Mo Hurst, winning the line of scrimmage and giving the South Carolina Gamecock rushing attack nowhere to go.
Peoples-Jones was hit. The flag was thrown. I believe that's Ben Asbury, the long snapper. If you're a long snapper, you don't want your name said too often in a football game. This is the 2nd time he's been tagged with a penalty. 1 false start and now a likely kick-catch interference.
Lack of awareness, Adam. A lot of lack of focus and lack of awareness.
Number
South
45,
Carolina.
kicking team. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Let's check in at the Sugar Bowl with Kevin Nagandi. Baker Mayfield, solid running game for Oklahoma, some threats on the outside, a great offensive line against one of the better defenses in college football with that great front.
Get your popcorn ready. must-see TV this evening. Two outstanding college football playoff matchups on the slate.
2 timeouts for Michigan from their own 40. Underneath, Higdon keeps his feet and flexes his way to the 49 for a first down. That's a rare missed tackle by Sky Moore.
After I praise him for the great tackling, we get a missed tackle. It's good pressure inside, rip up. Number 95, Dante Sawyer, gets pressure, and Sky Moore out in open space, usually a great tackler. Ron Higdon able to make a miss.
That time incomplete for Higdon. DJ Wanham right in his face.
Very basic game plan so far today for Brandon Peters. Not a lot of shots down the field. That's not really what this offense is about or what they try to do.
How do you assess this quote-unquote audition so far?
I think he's struggled quite a bit here in the first half. He's missed several open targets. He's been under a lot of pressure. It's an offensive line did give up 34 sacks coming into today. 2 already and quite a bit of pressure. So needs to pick it up in the second half.
Peters able to get out of bounds with Brunson bearing down. Will save one of their 2 timeouts here. 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Play action pass. Love the tight ends in the pass game in these spots. For 83, Zach Gentry. I'm still waiting to see 9, Donovan Peoples-Jones get involved. This is a true freshman that they're extremely high on in Ann Arbor. His coaching staff, Tim Drevno, the offensive coordinator, spoke very highly of him.
Peters has time, and it's deflected at the line of scrimmage. You don't often see it with a 6'5" quarterback, but this is a strong deep front right now for South Carolina.
And Dante Sawyer, defensive end. I just really appreciate a defensive lineman that understands the surroundings, understand what's going on throughout the process of the play. He's getting double teamed. He can't get there with the rush, but he keeps his eyes up on the quarterback and he gets his left hand up to get the pass deflection. 4th down. South Carolina showing some pressure at him.
Going for it are the Wolverines. 1st down, Sean McCune to the 33-yard line. 33 seconds to go.
Well, this is outstanding blitz pickup coming off the edge. You're going to see pressure come, and you're going to see Karan Higdon pick it up. Excellent job by the running back, getting T.J. Brunson on the blitz, holding up in protection, allowing Brandon Peters to step into that throw and find his tight end, Sean McCune, on a much, much needed 4th down conversion. And now that's an area that the coaching staff, Tim Drevno, really praised Karan Higdon about his ability on 3rd down to stand in there and pass protection and allow his quarterbacks that extra time when the defense wants to bring added pressure.
48-year-old Tim Drevno, 3rd season on staff, has been with Jim Harbaugh since 2004. From the University of San Diego to Stanford to the San Francisco 49ers on that Super Bowl staff, to becoming the O-line coach for a year at USC, and then reuniting with Harbaugh when he came to Michigan. 1 timeout, 33 seconds for the half. Peters dumps it off for Evans. Tackled by Brunson. Clock continues to move. And Jim Harbaugh might save that last timeout for a potential field goal try. Peters. Incomplete. And the clock stops with 4 seconds to go. From here, it would be about a 43 or 44-yard field goal.
Take you back to 1st down. I really like the pocket presence of Brandon Peters. He's under pressure by Shameik Blackshear. Blackshear's going to get there right in his face. See how he steps up, keeps his eyes down the field, and he protects the football. and he's able to locate his running back out of the backfield. That's an excellent job by the redshirt freshman quarterback, under pressure, finding a way to make a play.
Prior to the snap, timeout, South Carolina. Their third and final of the half. 30 seconds.
Quinn Nordine will get set to close the half with a field goal. Perfect time to tell you that Allstate is proud to be part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Sophomore out of Rockford, Michigan. He's got great range. Of course, some tough conditions on the field today. To open up 2018, we bring you field goals.
Well, Adam, we had the Texas Bowl the other night, and the punter was the MVP. Dare I say it? Are we on our way for a kicker to be an MVP yet again in one of our bowl games?
Hey, it's been some good defense in this first half, but we'll see if the offense picks up. South Carolina will have the ball to start the second half. Will Muschamp's team down 9-3. We'll get you set for the halftime break. Our Mercedes-Benz halftime report after the commercial. From New Orleans, it'll be Kevin, Booger, and Tim coming up.
To Capital One Bowl Mania.
Back in Tampa for the 2018 Outback Bowl. All field goals in that opening half of play. 9-3, Michigan on top as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Let's take a little listen and look at some of the halftime festivities here in Tampa. South Carolina will receive the second half kickoff. Let's check in with Molly McGrath.
Yeah, Adam, at the beginning of the game, you guys were talking about fiery coaches. I could hear head coach Jim Harbaugh yelling at his team from outside the locker room. He sounded pretty angry, but I did talk to him about his quarterback, Brandon Peters. He's actually happy with how he's been performing so far, saying he's seeing things well, he's managing the pocket well, especially some of those outside passes. He likes that. He just wants them to pick up the tempo, go even faster. He also wants to see more fight to get into the end zone, Adam.
Great stuff, Molly. We'll see how Peters comes out in the second half after the Gamecocks get the ball to start. James Fogue gets us underway with a touchback. Adam Amin, Dusty Dvorak back in the broadcast booth. We talked about the sticks of fire. The name Tampa means sticks of fire in old school Native American languages. We had the fire in that first step between these two.
A lot of emotion, a lot of passion. We've seen it from these coaches, and we've seen it from these players throughout this New Year's Day morning. Will Muschamp He's been into it, letting the referees know. We know about Jim Harbaugh, as passionate a coach as you're going to find in college football. And throughout the course of the game, it was chippy before. Earlier in the week at a bowling event, it's been chippy all throughout this first half. Really headlined by both defenses stepping up and playing extremely well.
Mon Denson gets the first carry of the second half. He'll pick up 4.
On Wednesday, chippy at a bowling event. Some words were exchanged, and words have been exchanged out here on the field. Extracurricular after the whistle all throughout the day today for a fun morning here in Tampa.
Good play by Randricus Davis, picking up the first down.
Jake Bentley putting that ball out in front of his wide receiver, allowing him to go make a play, and as we expected, South Carolina continuing to play with that tempo.
Tipped into the air, incomplete. First half stats. Defenses really stepped up in that opening half of play.
And you know, Michigan's defense, as far as 3-and-outs go, one of the best in college football. They led the country with 75 3-and-outs going into this game. This makes 12 of 13 games with 5 or more 3-and-outs. You can flat out just shut you down, get the football back.
Bentley was looking for Ortre Smith, another true freshman out of South Carolina.
Going to throw a fade to the big receiver. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, the true freshman, working one-on-one outside against David Long. Pass just too high, well over the hands of his intended target. Jake Bentley's had some real issues this year. His footwork forcing him to have passes sail and go high.
Blitz coming from Winovich, and it's closed out by Furbush.
I like this by Don Brown, right? His defensive end, he's going to stand him up last minute, and he's going to bring him on a blitz. And he's going to get home, he's going to get clean, it opens up. Good job by the running back as he fights through. And it's the other defensive end, Furbush, who's able to get the sack. Excellent job by Don Brown disguising, moving his players around, making it tough to identify. And the Michigan defense getting home for another sack.
Peoples-Jones brought down shy of the 30. Continues to get a little chippy between these two teams. Of course, it's all leading up to 5 o'clock Eastern time today. Rose Bowl game, college football playoff semifinal. Oklahoma and Georgia. And then it will be the All-State Sugar Bowl, our other semifinal, Clemson and Alabama. Both games available on ESPN and the ESPN app. First Michigan drive of the half starts from the 28. Peters hit as he throws, but he finds Donovan Peoples-Jones to the 34-yard line. So all three of us threw our playoff picks out there. Oklahoma and Alabama for me, and for Dusty, we both think Oklahoma would win a matchup just based on feel. Molly went with Clemson and Oklahoma. She would pick Clemson as the national championship winner. All three of us really excited to see how it plays out over the next 8 days.
I could make a case for any 4 of these teams.
Sure.
I really could. I mean, it's that tough to decide. I just went Oklahoma because Baker Mayfield has been by far and away the best player in college football. And I'm not sure if any defense can slow him in that offense down.
Peoples-Jones with the first down. The thing that stuck out to me, and again, a lot of it is going to have to do with how the game's played early. I feel like Georgia's not as good coming from behind, but if they get a lead in that game, that running game can really salt away a lot of the time. Keep Baker Mayfield on the sideline. It's all going to be a matter of execution today. Picks up a yard, does Chris Evans.
I like the start to the second half for Brandon Peters. First down, he was hit as he threw, fires a strike. Then on second down, he finds Donovan Peoples-Jones on a slant with RPO. Already into a nice groove here to start this second half for Brandon Peters.
Tim Drevno, offensive coordinator, started the season upstairs. Came down about midway through the year. Well, 50-50 ball for Nico Collins. 6'4" true freshman going over top of the 5'10" Nixon.
Well, South Carolina's playing man coverage outside, and Michigan says, our guys are better than your guys. Brandon Peters puts plenty of air underneath that football to allow his wide receiver Nico Collins to adjust in the air. Nico Collins, 6'4", much bigger. The cornerback, Keyshawn Nixon. Nice play by the receiver outside. Another Michigan first down.
Peters has Crawford. First down into the red zone for the Wolverines.
Nicola Crawford just wide open down the sidelines. He gets back behind the cornerback, Jamarcus King. An excellent pass delivered by Brandon Peters as he takes the shot from Taylor Stallworth. It's one thing I like a lot about Brandon Peters, man. He will stand in the pocket, wait till the last minute, knowing he's going to take a shot, and deliver the football accurately down the field.
Pitch to Higdon. And he gets the edge. Karan Higdon gets the touchdown. Now he's going to be marked short. 1 yard line. Official started to put his hands up and then said out of bounds.
Excellent run by Karan Higdon. He's going to get to the edge, and he's got to make one man miss. And he's able to do that. It's 3. Chris Lamons, the safety who comes up. Been such a good tackler today. But Karan Higdon outruns him to the perimeter. It's physical running down around the goal line.
They go to the fullback, Ben Mason. Touchdown, Michigan.
What I love about this guy, won the toughest player award as a true freshman. He's outstanding on special teams. He's a punishing blocker. And here he is with the first touchdown here in the Outback Bowl. A little fullback dive. Making it old school. On contact, a little spin move. I'm an athlete too. Excellent drive to start the second half of the Michigan Wolverines. Brandon Peters set it up, and the fullback Ben Mason finished it off.
Second career touchdown for Ben Mason.
Well, the Michigan offense has finally woken up here in the second half of 2018. It's smash mouth old school football for Michigan, and a fullback finds the end zone.
Converted from defense to offense. Ben Mason, coaching staff said this guy's not afraid of anything. Went right into the teeth of the South Carolina defense for the first touchdown in this game. Part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Starting off 2018 with the Outback Bowl.
Happy New Year's, everybody out there, if you're just joining us. Fun that we were able to bring you football for the first time in 2018 here in Tampa.
Shi Smith. Turns it out to the 26-yard line. Michigan Wolverines started 4-0 this year. Then the quarterback injuries got in the way. Wilton Spate got hurt against Purdue. They needed to use John O'Korn, then Brandon Peters. 3 losses to top 10 opponents in conference. Their defense doing a lot of the heavy lifting for Jim Harbaugh's crew this year.
They do 2 things extremely well. They can rush the passer, and they can flat out cover on the outside. When you do that, lends itself to great pass defense, and that's been the story here today and all throughout the season. This Wolverine defense just tenacious here as they dominate the line of scrimmage. Nowhere A.J. Turner to go. It's Devin Bush, it's Khaleke Hudson all over the place, Adam.
Don Brown led Boston College to the #1 total defense ranking in 2015, then replaced DJ Durkin as the Michigan coordinator last year. Led Michigan to the #1 defense in 2016. Incomplete. Trying to find Ortre Smith. Good coverage by David Long.
It's good coverage. He gets the left hand in there to get the pass breakup, but like Ortre Smith had good position on the slant. Better coverage by the sophomore cornerback, David Long.
Bentley down the seam, tipped and picked off. Noah Furbush with the interception. What a moment for Noah Furbush. Mostly a special teamer his entire career, 32nd career game, first career pick.
Well, Don Brown's at it again. It's disguising what he's doing. Devin Bush is going to come on the blitz. He's going to have Khaleke Hudson, who's in the middle. He's going to drop into coverage and go man-to-man with Hayden Hurst, the tight end, out of the slot. Excellent disguise. The blitz comes, and it's fantastic man-to-man coverage up the seam by Khaleke Hudson. The Viper position. He runs hand-in-hand with him, gets the hand up. The deflection, Furbush picks it off, and the Michigan Wolverines offense back in business.
From the 27. Nothing for Peters.
It was South Carolina that told us they wanted to break the turnover record today. And Michigan already racked up 3 takeaways here early in the third quarter. That's what South Carolina needs at this point. They've got to find a way to get a stop, but more importantly, if they can take the football away, desperately needed right now.
Nothing there for Higdon. If South Carolina holds Michigan to a field goal and keeps it at a 2-score game, they've done that a couple of times already today when their defense has been backed up.
Something they've done all season long. After turnovers, they've answered the bell, and they've come up with timely stops. They need a stop. Right here, Tavares Robinson, see if he dials it up, showing pressure on 3rd and long.
Good protection for Peters. Flag is thrown. It was caught by Donovan Peoples-Jones, and DJ Smith came in with a crunching hit that got flagged.
Personal foul, targeting, number 24 defense. The play is under review.
Great route by Donovan Peoples-Jones, comeback route. Ooh. Vicious hit over on the sidelines. Well, Muschamp is not happy.
He's really upset about this call. Let's take another look at this. Looks like he led with the crown of the helmet. Again, forcible contact above the shoulders against a defenseless player. A receiver counts as a defenseless player, or forcible contact with the crown of the helmet. And if there's some kind of indication, a launch or a thrust of some sort, all the axioms for targeting seem to be in place here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know what, I'm not saying DJ Smith had intent.
No, not at all.
After review,
This
the
is
ruling of
targeting.
targeting is confirmed.
Yeah.
Number 24 is disqualified from the game. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
And that's targeting to a T. I mean, this is what we're trying to outlaw in college football and the NFL. So you've got to see exactly what you're hitting, and you clearly cannot go above the shoulder into the head or neck area, which clearly DJ Smith did. Unfortunate that his day and season is over, but that's the correct call on the field.
And his career. 49th career game for the senior out of Marietta, Georgia.
Don't let get lost in that. The throw and catch by Brandon Peters to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Excellent timing, a good route, and a ball delivered right where it needed to be to move the sticks prior to the hit.
Higdon pushing the pile inside the 5. Did the ball come loose? A little bit of a scrum for it. South Carolina football. When they needed it most, they get a takeaway. And Chris Lamont comes out with it.
But Travaris Robinson told us they worked extensively. Somebody tackles first and the next man get the ball. We want to get the football. We were saying South Carolina needed a timely takeaway, and they get exactly what they were looking for. Looks like number 99, Kinlaw. Javon Kinlaw gets in there, and as the tackle's secured, he starts that lawnmower, baby. He gets the lawnmower going, rips the football out. And Chris Lamont's on top of it to get South Carolina the football back inside their own 5.
Would Jim Harbaugh challenge this potentially?
Michigan has called timeout to challenge the ruling on the field of a fumble recovered by the defense. The play is now under review.
You get a maximum of 2 challenges in college football if your first one is correct. I was going to say, Dusty, the only thing you can challenge here is whether or not he was already down.
Right.
I didn't see it initially. The knee go down when that ball came out. It looked like the ball was stripped by Kinlaw while Higdon was clearly up. Doesn't seem like he went down there.
From that look, it looks like the ball's out before anything touches the ground. Camera crew always does an excellent job of giving all the different looks.
See the ball being stripped. Yeah, that ball is out before Higdon went down to the ground. So,
yeah.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh took a chance. I don't think it's a bad challenge by any means, but that's the only thing you could possibly challenge there. And looked like the ball was clearly out.
You know, Tim Drevno, one of the things he pointed out, the offensive coordinator of Michigan, one of the things he pointed out to us, we sat with him yesterday morning, was ball security for Karan Higdon. One of the things that he's been so good about is taking care of the football as he's fighting for those extra yards. Javon Kinlaw, the big defensive tackle, 6'6", 300 pounds, for knowing that his teammates had the tackle secured, just doing whatever he can to rip the ball out.
After review, ruling on the field is confirmed. Michigan is charged with a timeout and may not challenge for the remainder of the ball game.
Exactly what South Carolina needed. Michigan driving, headed towards the goal line, and the Gamecocks, for the time being, dodge disaster. Now a long field in front of Jake Bentley. Under pressure, able to find Brian Edwards at the 8-yard line.
Boy, watch Maurice Hurst work on this guard. He's working from the inside. He's going to beat this guard, and I mean clean. Arm over the top. Comes after Jake Bentley and forces a quick throw. Maurice Hurst is going to make a lot of money. The job he's done coming back as a senior, really helping his game. I just love the fact that he's out here playing today, knowing he's going to be a high draft pick come April.
Pressure from Michigan. Dennis Daly, the left tackle, ended up falling down.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. There was a receiver in the area. Third down.
Bentley ended up just getting rid of the football.
Hudson again coming off the edge. They have yet to be able to pick him up or identify when he's coming. Again, this is all part of Don Brown's scheme. He changes up so many different looks, moves these guys around, and it's difficult for these offensive linemen to pinpoint and figure out exactly who's coming.
Another disguised look from Michigan. More pressure. This time, Devin Bush.
These guys are good, man. It's very impressive to watch these guys work. I mean, moving around at the snap, prior to the snap, you had Hudson on the outside, you have Bush step up at the line of scrimmage, and he's just going to come clean off the edge, and nobody's going to count for him. Zach Bailey tries to get a right hand on him, but it's not enough. Devin Bush, one of the best linebackers in all of college football, was a finalist for the Butkus, and you see not just a second-level linebacker, but a guy at the line of scrimmage who's a quality pass rusher as well.
Donovan Peoples-Jones inside the 35-yard line. Great field position for the Michigan Wolverines. Shock and awe to start 2018.
The Outback Bowl, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Hurry in January 2nd for your free bloomin' onion or coconut shrimp. The Lexus December to Remember sales event. Offers available for a limited time. And DiGiorno. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Longest running sponsor of a bowl game is Outback here at the Outback Bowl. There's our buddy Ryan Nanni, sports writer for SB Nation. Somehow, in the third quarter, has become the bloomin' onion here at the Outback Bowl. Chris Evans inside the 30-yard line. Really fun story. Ryan constantly tweeting at Outback and said, how many retweets is it going to take for you to let me fulfill my destiny and become the blooming onion man? And sure enough, Ryan Nanni got enough retweets to be the mascot for one quarter here at the Outback Bowl. Dare I say, a lifelong dream come true. And that is a wedding ring on his hand. That man is a father. Ryan Nanni, a proud moment for our buddy from SB Nation.
I think you'd look good in that blue.
Well, I think, frankly, I would. If I weren't doing this, I think I'd want
a man
to be
can
the
dream, right?
mascot. I mean, maybe I'll fulfill that dream one day. Incomplete. Looking for Donovan Peoples-Jones. This is the schedule today for Ryan Nanni. South Carolina pregame meeting at 10 o'clock. Quickly escorted out of the South Carolina pregame meeting. And really about an hour and 20 minutes necessary to oil up.
Oil up?
Got to oil up to get fried for the costume. You got to fry up, man.
Okay. Didn't know if he thought maybe there was going to be sun today. He was going to work on his stand. Hate to tell him, it's overcast and a bit rainy.
Quinn Nordine, rock solid so far today. This will be from 48. And the Wolverine kicker does it again. Two-score game still, but Jim Harbaugh's team leads now by 16. The final minutes of the third quarter. Our friends at Outback were nice enough to bring us
Thank you, Outback.
a bloomin' onion. Some coconut shrimp as well. Are you team coconut shrimp or team bloomin' onion? Just out of curiosity.
I'm team both.
Oh, okay. So you're,
you know this.
So that's good too here.
I don't know if you knew about this, but I like food.
I'm gonna take one of these.
We like food on this B crew. It's been a fun part of the entire year, but man, Love Outback Steakhouse, and you can get coconut shrimp and a bloomin' onion up in the booth on television. It's a heck of a new year.
I'm not upset about this right now.
2018's off to one heck of a start.
That's Corey Welty as well. She is the coconut shrimp today. And the regular bloomin' onion for this game is Matt Lewis. But Ryan Nanny with his takeover in quarter number 3.
What do you think, shrimp or onion?
I'm personally a shrimp guy. That's just me, though. Listen, if I were eating the onion right now and just going at, you'd be upset about the smell coming from this booth. Terry Cooger on the return out across the 20.
South Carolina's got to get something going here.
Yep.
I mean, it's been tough sledding all day long for this offense, but at this point, as you look at it, it feels like Michigan offensively is starting to settle in. It's been a good start to the second half for the quarterback, Brandon Peters. 10 drives today for South Carolina, just 4 first downs. Jake Bentley been unable to get anything going so far. Get Brian Edwards, the receiver, going when one-on-one outside.
Under pressure, finds Rico Dowdle. And Rico Dowdle, there's a first down for South Carolina.
Corey Helms, the right guard, through a quality block outside to help spring Dowdle pick up those extra yards after the catch. Screen pass into the boundary, well blocked. A nice pickup for South Carolina.
Timeout, Michigan. Their second of the half. 30 seconds.
Jake Bentley, the sophomore out of Opelika, Alabama, by way of Burns, South Carolina. Graduated high school in 3 years. After his junior year, he enrolled at South Carolina. His dad, who was a longtime coach in South Carolina, ended up coming over from Auburn to take the running back coach job at South Carolina. For this game, after Kurt Roper, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, was fired in the first week of December, Brian McClendon is calling the plays, and Bobby Bentley is the interim quarterbacks coach, Jake's dad.
Now, watching Jake on the film, man, he shows you some great stuff where you're like, man, this could be a next-level quarterback with some of the throws he makes outside the numbers. Too much inconsistency and issues with accuracy, and have to continue to work on that heading into next season.
Khalid Hudson right there to stop Dowdle.
Don Brown stopped well short of comparing Khalid Hudson to Jabril Peppers. They play the same position, but he said these are different players. But man, Khalid Hudson just jumps off the screen to tape his versatility. And here today, he's been a one-man wrecking crew, blitzing, out in coverage, showing off the full skill set.
Flag thrown. Bentley flings it up there for Ortre Smith. Good coverage by Long.
Smart play. Free play. It was offsides by Michigan, so take your shot down the field.
Number 93, defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Davis will get close to the sticks into Michigan territory. And again, things continue to stay chippy between these two squads.
Stock blocking outside. Ortre Smith, the true freshman, wide receiver, helps allow Davis pick up a couple extra yards.
Oh for 9 on third down, South Carolina in this game. Timeout.
South Carolina. Their first of the half, 30 seconds.
Will Muschamp displeased. Bringing over our lead official in this game, Stuart Mullins. The Outback Bowl here in Tampa, all part of Capital One Bowl Mania. First meeting in 5 years between these two, the fourth meeting all time. Will Muschamp in his second season trying to lock up a 9-win campaign. It's only happened 6 times in South Carolina history. Well, Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines try to get arguably their most impressive win of the year. They didn't have a win against a team that entered bowl season with a winning record. First down for the first time today for South Carolina, and it's Rico Dowdle out to the 39-yard line.
Michigan brings pressure once again. Devin Bush on a blitz inside. Nobody accounts for Dowdle out of the backfield. He's wide open in the flats. Quality job by Jake Bentley recognizing there's a miss in coverage and getting the ball out to his outlet for an easy first down.
High snap, handled by Bentley. Ortre Smith. Flag is thrown, though.
The illegal man downfield. It's a run-pass option.
Ineligible player downfield, number 70. Offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Alan Knott, the center, got called for that.
Just so people know at home, run-pass option. You have a play called in the huddle. It can go either way. Freeze it there, guys. Guessing they called it on 70, but you got here, guys down the field. Offensive line has no idea if it's a run or a pass. The quarterback, he's going to read. He has a key, whether it's a safety, whether it's a linebacker, different key for different plays. He's going to determine, put his offense in the best play, a run or a pass. So if the offensive line continues to block down the field and run blocking, this is why we're oftentimes seeing illegal men down the field.
How much did the snap have to do with that? Does that disrupt the rhythm of the play as well?
Probably ever so slightly, but I think that had more to do with Jake Bentley getting outside the pocket, waiting for Trey Smith to get open, which the play just took longer than anticipated.
Hayden Hurst in space, shy of the sticks. A late hit is going to get called on Michigan. Josh Metellus came in late.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 14. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Finally, Hayden Hurst gets involved in the offense, and way late hit over on the out of bounds by Josh Metellus. Easy call for the official. Chippiness has been going well before this game kicked, and it's continued, as you just saw in that last play. A gift there for South Carolina to get them inside the red zone.
Dowdle in space, touchdown South Carolina from a man who hasn't played since midway through the season.
They're excited, but they got to get ready because they're going to have to go for 2. I like the play call. Speed option into the boundary. Not a lot of room for Dowdle to work. Makes the guy miss, and he cuts it all the way back. And he finds Pater. Nice read by Jake Bentley. Good vision, a nice cutback as Dowdle finds the end zone. And the guy, we didn't even anticipate the play. I was at practice 2 days ago. Dowdle wasn't doing anything, and here he is finding the end zone for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
We're going to go for 2 to try to make it a 1-score game. Bentley was looking for Hurst, but Devin Bush got in the passing lane. It remains a 10-point game.
Yeah, there's a stack formation. The right side, they motion Hurst in and then motion him back out. They just want to get him into the flats. Man-to-man coverage. And he was open. He had good position. A fantastic play by Devin Bush. Back to the touchdown. Speed option into the boundary. It's a good read by Jake Bentley. Off of the defensive end, Chase Winovich. And then the rest is all Dowdle. Missed tackle by Jamark Woods. Here's your boy.
Ryan is living it up right now. Rico Dowdle, sophomore out of Asheville, North Carolina. Part of this running back rotation, but again, a fractured bone in his lower leg midway through the season. Hadn't seen any time. All the articles written about South Carolina football talking about the injuries that they were dealing with in bowl preparation. Most of them thought Rico Dowdle was not going to play. Got treatment this morning, suited up for warm-ups, felt ready to go, and has been impactful here in the second half. Ambry Thomas on the return for Michigan. And they're going to have a long field in front of them.
That drive could not have come at a better time. We talked about before that drive started, they needed to make something happen. They paid it off with a touchdown. A little bit of momentum for South Carolina for what feels like the first time today. Can their defense pay it off and come up with a big stop to get their offense the ball back? In the second half, Brandon Peters has gotten to a bit of a groove. I think he's looked much better in the second half than he did in the first. See Michigan move the football a little bit more ease after the break.
Higdon, good hole to run through. He'll pick up 8 yards.
Big hole off the right side. John Runyon filling in. Cesar Ruiz, right side of that offensive line, opened up a big gaping hole for Karan Higdon.
John Runyon, the son of John Sr., the former Michigan offensive lineman who spent 14 years in the NFL. Pro Bowler with the Eagles in 2002. Higdon stacked up by DJ Wanham. It's going to be a very important third down in the tapestry of this game.
Respect power football. Nice play by DJ Wanham. He's had a great year for South Carolina. They are very excited about this true sophomore. Long, athletic, very instinctive player, and they say he's got the it factor. Showing some of the it factor there on second down. Taylor Stallworth, big nose tackle in the middle. Such a key with the push inside all year. See if he can get off a block and make a play.
That ball is loose, and South Carolina has it. Javon Kinlaw. The last 2 turnovers have been given to South Carolina. It was the tight end, Sean McCune, who was getting a handoff.
And Sean McCune, who's not a ball carrier outside of catching the football. They try to hand him a handoff. He's playing in the fullback position, try to give him the fullback dive, and he just doesn't take the handoff properly. Ball's on the ground. South Carolina's on it. And I mentioned it felt like they had some momentum. Momentum has drastically swung to the South Carolina side.
From the 21-yard line, Bentley, end zone, it is caught! Touchdown, Brian Edwards! Just like that, this game has turned on its head.
How about the ball placement here by the quarterback? Jake Bentley and the adjustment on the football by Brian Edwards. I've seen it time and time again on the tape from this kid. He goes up, he high points it, he turns his body back, and he finishes the process of the catch in the end zone. Great job by Jake Bentley, giving his receiver a chance on the post, and Brian Edwards with the acrobatic catch, going up and getting it. 2 touchdowns in the last 94 seconds for South Carolina. Old Uncle Mo, he's in the building, partner.
Squarely on the side of Will Muschamp right now.
Good pocket, protection was there as a play-action pass. Brian Edwards, guy that they've targeted on 39% of their passes this season. Jake Bentley likes passion over on the sidelines, and just when it kind of felt like Michigan had completely taken this game over at him, South Carolina comes to life. We got ourselves a ball game.
Javon Kinlaw has made a major impact here in the second half as well. Sophomore out of Charleston, South Carolina, a junior college transfer who came in at 340 pounds, and not a good 340. He has slimmed down significantly with the help of Jeff Dillman, the strength and conditioning coach, and Kristen Coggin, the team nutritionist that has worked on his diet.
He looks good on the tape too. Quickness, redirects, just a true sophomore. And I had a chance to stand next to him at practice the other day. He's got an NFL frame. Long, 6'6". And now that he's gotten himself into the proper shape, he can really see a difference, and it translates onto the field.
Got a delay here because I believe the official's mic was having some issues, so one of the technicians just came out to adjust the microphone of Stuart Mullins, that microphone pack. Now we've got ourselves a 3-point game. Wild card weekend coming up in the National Football League. A wild Week 17. The Titans needed to win yesterday to get in. They won it over the Jaguars, so they get a shot at the Kansas City Chiefs. Saturday at 4:20 Eastern Time on ESPN, on ABC and ESPN Deportes. Also streaming live on the ESPN app as well.
Still going back to that last fumble, I'm surprised Sean McHugh was in there at fullback taking a handoff.
Not used to doing that.
No.
Peters looking for McHugh, his top pass catcher this season. Incomplete. 2 giveaways by the Wolverines. Their last 3 touches. That's turned this game around. Jones, good blocks out on the edge. He's got the first down. Mason Cole, the left tackle, was out on the perimeter to help block.
Boy, do I love this guy. How about today making his 51st straight start? We can take it even further than that. Take a look at Cole. Gets out of the second level. He's such an athletic offensive lineman, played center a season ago. He can get to the second level, gets a nice little just piece of the cornerback and helps spring a nice first down by Donovan Peoples-Jones. Mason Cole, 51st straight start. Adam, 51 straight starts in high school. His 102nd straight start. What a war daddy the big left tackle for Michigan is. Durability, he's got it. He'll be having interviews for the NFL draft here in a little bit. That's really all he needs to say.
In the third quarter.
Mason Cole and the Wolverines still lead it by 3, but South Carolina with a push at the end of the third. Pretenders? That's the sign that Baker Mayfield, the Heisman Trophy winner, is walking into the Rose Bowl with. Focused and ready. 5 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. The Progressive Bowl Challenge Cup is here at the Outback Bowl and will be awarded to the conference that has the highest winning percentage in the postseason. The Big Ten, 7-0 through their first 7 bowl games. They've already clinched the cup, but Michigan does have a chance to try to race this final baton to the finish line and make it 8-0 for the Big Ten.
Big Ten has been unbelievably impressive so far in this bowl season. Can Michigan finish it off perfect? A quarter to find out.
Karan Higdon got hit by Fennell.
Seen Donovan Peoples-Jones, the true freshman receiver, 9. His role started to pick up here in the second half. He's had a couple of nice plays. Excellent speed. Really tough to deal with out in space.
Deep drop for Peters. Try to find McCune underneath. Good coverage by Steven Montag, a nickel safety.
Has excellent coverage down the field. The better pressure by Taylor Stallworth, the senior defensive tackle. Uses a spin move on the guard. It's a big hit on Brandon Peters as he delivers the pass. 3rd and long. All start.
Yep.
Entire left side of the offensive line went early.
False start, number 52, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Let's check in with Cassidy Hubbard. Caths. Thanks so much, CH. 13-13.
Scott Frost.
Interesting score there.
It's ready to play. It's impressive.
Trying to finish off the only undefeated season in college football this year at the FBS level. Nothing there for Karan Higdon. Aaron Sterling in on the mix defensively.
It's just a 3-man down lineman. They were going to play a drop 8, expecting throw down the field, and the defensive line just too much. Well, Scott Frost, what a story this is. You know, we had them for UCF, USF, the big game on Black Friday. Watched them finish the regular season undefeated. They pay it off, the conference championship, and I just tip the cap and salute Scott Frost, even though he's the head coach at Nebraska, for finishing the season and for finishing what he started there with the UCF Knights, trying to make it a perfect 13-0.
Impressive stuff from what UCF is given us this year. South Carolina trails by 3 and they get the ball back.
Turn of the tides here in the second half and the third quarter. It was a speed option to Rico Dowdle. We didn't even know he was going to play. He's making guys miss into the end zone. Momentum swung. Fumble happened. Javon Kinlaw's on top of it. In the next play, a post route and an acrobatic catch by Brian Edwards. Last 2 snaps for the Gamecocks have resulted in touchdowns, and now they have the football with a chance to take their first lead of the game.
Michigan brings pressure. Bentley running out of time. Excellent penetration. Lawrence Marshall, Rashawn Gary, Devin Bush, everybody getting in on it for the Wolverine front.
That's a coverage sack there. They brought a cornerback blitz. Safety picks him up. Coverage good down the field. But as you mentioned, pressure gets there late. Rashawn Gary went off the right side. Beats Dennis Daly. Another sack for this Wolverine front.
Bentley throws it up there for Edwards. That was nearly a spectacular adjustment for a catch. Great coverage by Brandon Watson.
How about this pressure from the middle? Defensive tackles just dominate in the middle of this front. Take a look at both of these guys working. They're just going to win up front. 51, Corey Helms continues to get beat. 50, Michael Drumfor, Brian Monet. Good job rushing the passer. Put a lot of pressure on Jake Bentley.
3rd and long. Furbush forces Bentley out of the pocket. Looking for Hurst. In traffic, he made the first down catch. Big fella going up top.
Play of the day for Jake Bentley so far. He's under pressure. He evades it, gets outside the pocket, and he puts it up for his big-time tight end, Hayden Hurst. Great job high pointing the football. A much-needed 3rd and long conversion.
Smith runs it on 1st down for 7. This was the 100th catch of Hayden Hurst's South Carolina career.
Fades the rush. Placement outside the pocket, high and outside, where his tight end can go up and make a big athletic play.
Declared for the NFL draft, playing his final collegiate game. Now he's going to block so that the first down is picked up by Davis.
You know, it wasn't a bone-crushing block by Hayden Hurst, just enough. Just gets a piece of Khaleke Hudson to allow his receiver the ability to pick up the first down. Offense starting to get a little bit of a rhythm. Jake Bentley, finally for the first time all game long, seems to be getting some confidence and trusting his receivers down the field.
Good protection, has a man, caught! Touchdown, Shi Smith, Gamecocks take the lead. Straight points. 3 touchdowns on the last 7 offensive plays for South Carolina. Jake Bentley. 3 years it took him to graduate high school. He's been the starting quarterback for South Carolina the last year and a half. Big time plays.
All right, let's take a look at what happened. Shi Smith's working in the slot. It's going to be a slot fade. He's working on the safety, Tyree Kennel. But how about the other safety at the top, 26, Jamark Woods? He's a freshman. He goes the wrong direction. What do we have to have? Protection. The offensive line gives a great pocket for Jake Bentley. And Shi Smith in one-on-one coverage, he beats the safety, Tyree Kennel. The other safety cheats the wrong side over to Hayden Hurst. It's a wide-open touchdown. Perfectly thrown football by Jake Bentley, the sophomore quarterback, in South Carolina on top for the first time today here in Tampa.
20 consecutive points and a comeback for the Gamecocks with a long way to go. Embry Thomas out across the 20. Getting you set for the Rose Bowl game. Presented by Northwestern Mutual coming up. The arrival of Kirby Smart, the SEC Coach of the Year. Georgia and Oklahoma coming up at 5 Eastern over on ESPN.
And I just say it, it's the best bowl game out there. It's as good as it gets, man. I had a chance to play in that game in 2002 against Washington State. I don't call it the granddaddy of them all for nothing. A beautiful, beautiful venue. A great scene tonight. the college football playoff.
Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Maria Taylor, Tom Rinaldi on the call. Coming up in just a bit. First down, Zach Gentry.
Tight ends getting involved in this offense, big part of their passing game. Little stick route from Zach Gentry, working open. Timing, as Peters hits his back foot, ball comes out. Easy pitch and catch from the quarterback to his big junior tight end.
Peters nearly escaped the pressure, but I think that may have been a grab of the face mask by Brad Johnson. You saw Peters kind of buckle a little bit. Man, that was not very good. It looked really rough on Peters.
Clearly a personal foul.
Yeah, personal foul, face mask, number 19 defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's a true freshman making a huge mistake. Man, jerks that neck. Ugh, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
That sudden movement. And Brandon Peters had to go to the sideline. Will Muschamp's fired up after the call. And John O'Korn was just taking some practice snaps on the sideline as Peters is going to go get checked out by the training staff. So John O'Korn, the fifth-year senior out of Huntington, Pennsylvania, the former American Conference Rookie of the Year at Houston, now in his second season at Michigan. He made 4 starts this season. And he'll start his day with a completion to Kakoa Crawford. And a big gainer for Michigan.
Poor tackling outside by Keyshawn Nixon. Excellent wiggle by Kakoa Crawford. Getting to the perimeter.
Official timeout for an injured player.
If you're a defender, you've got to force, if you're a defensive back, you have to force that wide receiver back into your help. You cannot allow him to get to the perimeter, to get outside. You have to keep your outside shoulder free, force him back inside. Poor job out there on the perimeter by Keyshawn Nixon. We've got a ball game here in Tampa, Michigan with the ball, looking to take a lead when we get back.
The Outback Bowl, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Hurry in January 2nd for your free bloomin' onion or coconut trim. The quick silver card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere. And Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. This is Fit.
Bayshore Boulevard, a waterfront road on Hillsborough Bay in South Tampa. They claim it's the longest continuous sidewalk in the world at 4.5 miles. Brandon Peters back in at quarterback for the Wolverines with a fresh set of downs. And Chris Evans gets swallowed up.
Tough sledding on the ground for both these offenses. We knew coming in both these front sevens were very physical. South Carolina's been bringing an extra hat into the box quite a bit of the day.
Teams have combined for just 84 rushing yards today. Peoples-Jones to the edge. And the true freshman into the red zone for Michigan.
This guy's a playmaker. Donovan Peoples-Jones, they have really made it a point to get him the football out in space here in the second half. It's a now screen, really good blocking on the edge by Kakoa Crawford to help spring that run and allow him to get to the sidelines.
Big hole, Karan Higdon inside the 10-yard line. First down and goal for the Wolverines.
Need to run the football on the ground. Get behind your senior. Mason Cole. Big hole off the left side once again. This Michigan offensive line.
Peters. Looking. Pumping. Getting away. Montag, good pressure from the defensive backfield.
That's smart. He wanted to go to Sean McCune early. He was covered. Goes through his progressions, nothing's there. He gets outside the pocket. Very smart, gets rid of the football to fight to see another down.
Nothing there for Higdon. DJ Wanham, sophomore out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, stonewalled him.
Inside zone, backside defender, DJ Wanham. He's unblocked. Really closes down the space quickly. Makes a nice play right at the line of scrimmage. Three tight ends in the game for Michigan. Down here at the bottom of your screen, though, it's Donovan Peoples-Jones, single coverage.
Peters looking for help. Picked off. Jamarcus King. Red zone takeaway by South Carolina.
The South Carolina defense comes up again. Brandon Peters, his initial read wasn't there, so he gets outside the pocket. He looks at Donovan Peoples-Jones, and he gets blasted by Daniel Fennell. And an interception to give South Carolina the football back here in the fourth.
An important social note, there were 14 African-American head coaches to start 2017. That's about 11% of the coaches. But South Carolina is one of 3 schools in the FBS with 2 African-American coordinators. Here, Western Kentucky, and Arizona. Travaris Robinson is the defensive coordinator, Brian McClendon the OC. And Brian McClendon is smiling right now as Rico Dowdle busts out a 30-yard run.
Brian McClendon doing a heck of a job, especially in the second half of calling plays, getting this offense going. And Rico Dowdle, big run off the left side. Offensive line opens up a nice hole. Rico Dowdle, he's been the spark plug, the energy that South Carolina needed here in the second half.
Good penetration by Chase Winovich on Hurst. It is an important note to bring up with Brian McClendon calling the plays today on offense. Travaris Robinson, the defensive coordinator. This is in South Carolina, a state that was the first to declare its secession in 1860 in response to Abraham Lincoln's election. The only state in which slaveholders composed a majority of the legislature. That is an impressive and important social step in a growing sport like college football.
2 great men. And we had a chance to sit down with yesterday. Have the utmost respect for the job that they've been able to do at South Carolina.
Great coverage. Ortre Smith was blanketed by David Long.
And remember, for Brian McClendon, this is an extended interview process for him. Talking a lot about Brandon Peters auditioning for the starting quarterback position. Live audition for Brian McClendon, as he would love nothing more than not just be the interim offensive coordinator, but the man for next season. Huge third down, and they give Bentley the time he needs in the pocket.
Bentley going to try to run for it and got beat by Mike McCray before he could get to the sticks.
It's a nice play by Mike McCray. He's got the running back, A.J. Turner, in man-to-man coverage, and he's running with Turner while at the same time keeping his eye on Jake Bentley to see exactly what he's going to do. Once Bentley decides he's going to run with the football, he leaves the coverage and makes the tackle on the sidelines. Outstanding individual effort by the senior, Mike McCray.
Eighth punt of the day for Charlton. Donovan Peoples-Jones returned a punt against Air Force for a touchdown earlier this year. A lot of hang time on this kick. No return. It is muffed! Donovan Peoples-Jones muffed the punt, and A.J. Turner takes over. Disaster for Michigan.
Really on the field, the kick was muffed by the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team. First down.
This is a true freshman that they just love. He's been an excellent punt returner this year for Michigan. Had a 79-yard touchdown against Air Force early, and he just misjudges this football off his face mask and takes a South Carolina bounce. And they have the football inside the 15. Costly mistake by Donovan Peoples-Jones, and now the 4th turnover for Michigan, all in the second half, Adam.
And this was going to be Michigan ball with plenty of time, with a touchdown giving them the lead potentially. Instead, South Carolina takes over, and A.J. Turner gets hit by Devin Bush. Quick reminder that the NBA picks up again this Wednesday on ESPN, doubleheader. LeBron James facing his old teammate in Kyrie Irving. Cavs and Celtics, 8 Eastern to start it up, followed by the Thunder and the Lakers in our nightcap. NBA Countdown starts it all up at 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Speed option for Turner, and a good tackle by Mike McCray. Boy, if you hold South Carolina to a field goal here, huge win, keeps it at a touchdown game if you're Michigan.
You're exactly right.
And Mike McCray, one of those leaders on this defense, down after the play.
Unfortunately, it was his own player, Aubrey Solomon, coming in late on the pile, gives him a shot in the shoulder. Hopefully McCray's okay. Continue to take a look at Mike McCray, but just thinking about these second half turnovers by Michigan, Adam, all 4 have been within the 20s, right?
Yep.
I mean, 2 of them have been Michigan going in. Had the fumble right there inside the 5-yard line, throw an interception in the end zone, and then the other 2 turnovers are inside their own 20, so giving South Carolina short field. So you want to talk about just a huge shift in momentum based off these turnovers and the location of the turnovers. It's been crazy.
Jim Harbaugh, tough end to last season. Lost 3 of their last 4, trying to snap a skid at the end of this season. And you hate to see this with Mike McCray, one of his leaders on this team. Mike's a grad student now from Trotwood, Ohio. His dad, Mike Sr., was a captain at Ohio State. McCray playing his 38th game as a Michigan Wolverine. Slow to get up after the play, but he is up, and that's good to see.
I'd imagine Mike's going to have a great opportunity at the next level. Been an excellent linebacker here at Michigan for quite some time now. Back-to-back years, honorable mention, all Big Ten, and a key piece.
Third down and 11. Huge play here in the 4th.
And coverage outside.
A run for Bentley. Needed the 4, and Devin Bush stopped him shy of the sticks. Well, a field goal makes it a 7-point lead for South Carolina, and that's what Will Muschamp wants right now.
Smart call, get your points, go up a full touchdown, quarterback draw on 3rd and long. They weren't going to run the risk of turning the football over, and Jake Bentley making a man miss. The safety Tyree Cannell almost gets the first down, but sets up a chip shot for his kicker.
Parker White. It's a touchdown game with 3:47 to go. We're set up for a great finish in Tampa. Let's check in with Cassidy Hubbard. Great matchup between Notre Dame and LSU. Will Muschamp trying to make a little bit of history with South Carolina today, seeking his 15th win. That would tie him with Steve Spurrier and Joe Morrison for the most wins through 2 seasons as the head coach at South Carolina. About a 488-mile trip from the campus of South Carolina to Raymond James Stadium. Almost 1,200 miles from Ann Arbor down here to Tampa. It's been a back and forth and entertaining Outback Bowl. And it's all leading you up to
Uga 10.
Oklahoma and Georgia. There is Uga. He's getting ready to go out in Pasadena. Baker Mayfield, the Heisman Trophy winner. That excellent run game of the Georgia Bulldogs. Chris, Kirk, Maria, and Tom will have the call coming up from the granddaddy of them all.
We talked about Brandon Peters and this being an audition for him. A huge drive for him, and he wants to try to cement him being the starting quarterback heading into the offseason.
Starts this drive with a throw off the hands of Donovan Peoples-Jones.
And to catch it before you can run with it. Man, the second half has been littered with Michigan turnovers, 4 of them in the second half. And let's take note of where these are happening on the field. Inside the 20, a big 3rd and short. Inside their own 20, it's a fumble. A terrible ball by Brandon Peters. He tries to force one, and doink, off the face mask of Donovan Peoples-Jones. It's been the difference in this ball game. Turnovers, 4 of them, created by South Carolina in this second half.
Peters a little bit out of the reach, but on the hands of Collins.
You know how I feel, Adam. If it hits you on the hands and you're a receiver, you need to catch the football. The ball was thrown a little bit inside. Nico Collins, the true freshman, got to continue to work to the football. Shallow in-cutting route. He's got to be able to come up with that ball. Now 3rd and long. Expect pressure. The defensive coordinator, Travaris Robinson.
Peters, incomplete for Collins. Great coverage by Sky Moore. And now it's 4th down and 10. Michigan only has 1 timeout remaining now. And you're at your own 25-yard line. Be an interesting call to go for it on 4th down here.
I'll tell you what, that's what separates Sky Moore from other linebackers in this league. His ability to turn and run with a wide out in the slot, Nico Collins, in man-to-man coverage and make a play on the football. I don't like this call whatsoever, Adam. I'm shocked by it, actually.
Going for it on 4th down and 10. Peters taking a shot, incomplete for Crawford. And a turnover on downs gives the ball to the Gamecocks.
Michigan's only got 1 timeout, but 3:23 on the clock. I don't know, Adam. 4th and 10, and that's what you have. No one's open down the field. Brandon Peters is waiting for it, sitting back there, and then he just tries to hit his target down the field. well overthrows his receiver. With Michigan's defense, though, don't you punt the ball and let them try to get you better field position?
That's why we were saying it's such an interesting call to go for it on 4th down at your own 25 with still 3:23 to go. You get a stop. You're getting the ball back with a timeout.
That's right.
Or perhaps no timeouts at that point, but you're getting the ball back, and you're setting up South Carolina to maybe get the closing points of this game.
I don't like that decision by Jim Harbaugh.
Although that ball's on the ground. Bentley able to recover. Boy, if Hudson would have picked that one up, that would have changed this game very quickly with 3 minutes plus.
Timeout, Michigan. Their 3rd and final of the half. 30 seconds.
8-4 and 8-4. Casual fan may not think much of it, but this is a very important game for both of these fan bases. South Carolina's on an upward trajectory, and Michigan is now in the 3rd year of the Jim Harbaugh era. They haven't finished above 3rd in their division just yet. And Amani Toomer had some strong words about Jim Harbaugh's tenure right now. I think Michigan wanted a Nick Saban type, an Urban Meyer type. I just think that we deserve better than this. Doesn't care about the other stuff, the periphery stuff. He says he wants to beat Michigan State and Ohio State. 1-5 record so far. So year 4 of Jim Harbaugh's tenure is going to be a very important one for Michigan.
It's going to be a huge season for Jim Harbaugh, and they need to solidify the quarterback position. But I think Amani Toomer's right. Listen, Jim Harbaugh is a good football coach. He's won 10 games in back-to-back years, but you got to beat Ohio State, and you got to beat Michigan State. He has not done that through 3 seasons. I think by year number 4, if that still continues, if that's a trend we see continue, there's going to be some upset people in Ann Arbor next season.
Hey, for those of you who love those Michigan-Notre Dame night games, haven't played each other since 2014, that matchup gets going again for 2018 and 2019. That'll be the season opener. Scott Frost brings Nebraska into the Big House. You get Wisconsin in the Big House, but you do have to go to East Lansing and to Columbus next year.
Not going to be easy. Big 3rd down here for South Carolina.
Moving backwards out of field goal range. This is big here. Michigan escapes. They get the stops they need in a very tight spot. So Jim Harbaugh had some confidence in that defense. Out of timeouts. You can get this clock down inside at 2 minutes if you're the South Carolina offense.
Just imagine if they had punted the ball and been able to get the stops. I just feel like field position could have put themselves in a better spot. I'm not going to be surprised here if we see South Carolina take a delay a game, then punt the ball and try to pin Michigan back deep and make them try to drive the length of the field to tie this game up.
Timeout from Will Muschamp.
30 seconds.
Well, of course, after all of our playoff coverage on this New Year's Day, Scott Van Pelt will have SportsCenter on ESPN to close out the night. We'll have plenty of post-game coverage from both college football playoff games. You'll hear from all 4 teams and the coaches. You'll get a breakdown of the championship matchup, which will be set by the end of the night. And of course, got to look at not just the bad beats, the worst beats of 2017 with Scott and Stanford Steve. That's coming up after Alabama Clemson on ESPN and the ESPN app. Parker White's longest career field goal was a 47-yarder against Tennessee. This is a 48-yarder to potentially seal it. And Parker White will not have the slice this time. Michigan is still alive.
I didn't think Parker White had the distance. It's cold. The ball's not traveling well. He's 3 for 10 on the year and kicks between 40 and 49 yards. So that's why I was thinking they may take a delay of game, punt them, and try to pin them back deep and make them drive the length of the field. Now, good field position here for Michigan. I did not agree with the decision by Jim Harbaugh, but you can't argue with the results. Get the ball back with plenty of time and a decent field position. Can Brandon Peters lead this offense 69 yards and tie this game?
First down toss to the perimeter for the freshman, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Went right back to him, and he picks up 8. Out of bounds to stop the clock at 1:38.
South Carolina doesn't need to go away from the aggressive nature they've had throughout the course of the day. See so many times defenses soften up, like a prevent style defense, allow easy throws underneath and just matriculate the ball down the field.
Peters will slide down near the 40. Clock continues to move inside of 90 seconds. Third down and short. Quick throw, batted at the line of scrimmage. Dante Sawyer getting that big old paw up. And now, game comes down to this. 4th down and about a yard to go to try to stay alive. It's the 3-man rush. Peters. Intercepted rather by Steven Montag to seal it for South Carolina.
Fourth and 1, and they're throwing the football down the field. It's excellent coverage by Steven Montag. Undercuts the route on the out. It's a fantastic interception for the 5th takeaway, an Outback Bowl tying takeaway of the second half. Travaris Robinson told us yesterday they wanted to get 5 takeaways. They wanted to be bowl record holders as far as takeaways go. They just reached it with that interception and just got to their 9th win for the 7th time in program history. Some interesting decisions down the stretch, I feel like, Adam, this Michigan offense.
They tie the Outback Bowl record with that 5th takeaway. Exactly what Travaris Robinson talked about yesterday. They wanted to have that record, and Will Muschamp and his defense turned this game around, and it continues to get a little chippy between these two teams on the field.
Will Muschamp has got this program headed in the right direction. You've seen the progression. 6 wins a year ago. They get to 9 wins here this season, and with a very, very young football team, 70% freshmen and sophomores, you see nowhere but up for this program. And now for today's Capital One Player of the Game, receiver Brian Edwards. 5 catches, 88 yards, and a huge touchdown on a post route. He makes an acrobatic play climbing the ladder, getting a much-needed South Carolina touchdown to really get the momentum in their favor. And once the momentum started, Adam, nothing Michigan could do to slow it down.
This was a 19-3 game with Michigan on top with about 2.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Over the final 17-plus minutes, South Carolina outscored the Wolverines 23-0. And for just the 7th time in South Carolina program history, a program that began all the way back in 1892, the Gamecocks win 9 games in a single season. There will be some questions on those final moments for Michigan's play calling and decision making. There will be a lot to celebrate for South Carolina. Let's check in with Molly McGrath.
Thank you, Adam. Coach, that game was sealed by the 5th takeaway. That's the Outback Bowl record-tying takeaway. What kind of fight did you see in your defense there down the stretch?
Well, nothing that I haven't seen all year. Very gritty performance by our football team. We may not have the history, we may not have the tradition and all them trophies, but we got some grit and some toughness and some fight in this group, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of, and the great thing is we're just building.
I just saw your quarterback. He was pretty emotional. He's crying here on the field. How did he find success against the #1 pass defense in the country?
Those guys are really good. They cover really well. I thought Brian McClendon did an outstanding job of DCing and looking back and getting us in the right looks. We hit him on some deep balls down the field. The ball to shot. We moved the ball in the first half. We just didn't get any consistency, and we turned the ball. It was kind of cold when you have this stuff happen to you.
Of course, and you guys now the 7th team in school history with 9 wins. How important is that for you moving forward for what you want to do with this program?
Well, first of all, to thank you to our seniors and the job they did for our program. They did a phenomenal job. We're a 3-win team 2 years ago. 9 wins, springboards us forward, and I'm really excited about our future.
All right, congratulations on the win, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam.
An impressive comeback by South Carolina for its 9th win of the season. A fantastic job by our incredible crew from start to finish, led by our producer, Kim Belton, our director, Anthony DeMarco. For Dusty Dvorak, Molly McGrath, Adam Amin saying, enjoy the playoffs. So long from Tampa.